where cats didn't just think they were gods, they literally were worshipped and treated like gods. Welcome to ancient Egypt, where for over 3,000 years, cats ran the show, and honestly, they haven't let us forget it since. So here's the thing, when we talk about cats being worshipped in ancient Egypt, we're not exaggerating. The ancient Egyptians didn't just like cats. They built temples for them. They mourned them like family members. They mummified literally millions of them. And if you killed one, even by accident, let's just say the ancient justice system had some strong opinions about that. But why? What made these fuzzy little murder machines so sacred to one of the most powerful civilizations in human history? Let's find out. Our story begins 4,000 years ago along the banks of the Nile River. Egypt was an agricultural powerhouse. Their entire economy ran on grain. They had massive granaries storing wheat and barley, which fed the whole civilization. And you know what loves grain? Mice, rats, snakes, cats. Wildcats, specifically the African wildcat, Felis libica, started hanging around Egyptian settlements because of the free buffet of rodents. The Egyptians thought that their rodent problems mysteriously disappeared and thought, hey, these little guys are actually pretty useful. This wasn't cat worship yet, though. This was pest control. Cats weren't gods yet, they were employees. But here's where it gets interesting. Egyptians started noticing other things about cats. The way they move silently through the night, their fierce protection of their kittens, their seemingly supernatural ability to always land on their feet, and slowly a thought started forming. Maybe these creatures are more than just mouse catchers. Now we need to talk about Bastet, and trust me, she's fascinating. Originally, Bastet was depicted as a fierce lioness, a warrior goddess associated with the sun god Ra. She was terrifying, a protector deity who would absolutely destroy Egypt's enemies. But over centuries, something shifted. Bastet's image softened. The lioness became a domestic cat. The warrior goddess became a protector of homes, families, and, this is important, women and children, particularly during childbirth. By around 950 BCE, Bastet had her own city. Bubastis, in the Nile Delta, became the center of cat worship in Egypt. The Greek historian Herodotus visited around 450 BCE and described the annual festival of Bastet as the largest religious gathering in all of Egypt. He claimed 700,000 people attended, drinking more wine in those few days than the entire rest of the year. 700,000 people partying for a cat goddess. Tell me cats haven't always had us wrapped around their little paws. So why did cats become divine? It wasn't random. The Egyptians saw genuine godly qualities in them. First, there were the eyes. Cat pupils expand and contract with light, and the Egyptians associated this with the sun and moon. Cats were living symbols of celestial cycles. Their eyes literally reflected the heavens. Second, cats were incredible mothers, fiercely protective, nurturing, willing to fight anything threatening their young. In a society where infant mortality was devastatingly common, this maternal ferocity felt sacred. Third, and this is my favorite, cats embodied Ma'at, the Egyptian concept of cosmic order and balance. Cats were simultaneously gentle and deadly, lazy and explosive, domestic and wild. They contained contradictions, and to the Egyptian mind, that balance was divine. Also, let's be honest, cats already act like they're gods, with their diva audacity. The Egyptians just made it official. Here's where things get intense. Killing a cat in ancient Egypt, even accidentally, could be punishable by death. The Greek historian Diodorus Siculus recorded an incident where a Roman soldier accidentally killed a cat and was lynched by an Egyptian mob. Not arrested, not fined, lynched. Despite Rome being the dominant military power at the time, Egyptian authorities couldn't, or wouldn't, stop it. When a household cat died of natural causes, the entire family would shave their eyebrows as a sign of mourning. They'd shave them off and wouldn't consider the mourning period over until the eyebrows grew back. The cats themselves would be mummified, wrapped in fine linen, sometimes decorated with painted faces, sometimes placed in bronze cat-shaped coffins. These mummified cats were then buried in special cemeteries or in the catacombs beneath Bastet's temples. How many cat mummies are we talking about? In 1888, a single cat cemetery in Beni Hassan yielded an estimated 80,000 cat mummies. And that was just one site. Archaeologists believe millions of cats were mummified over the centuries. Millions! Now, here's where things get a little dark. With millions of cat mummies needed for religious offerings, a whole industry emerged. Cats were bred specifically to be mummified and sold to pilgrims visiting temples. Recent CT scans of cat mummies have revealed that many of these cats were young, some only kittens, and some show signs of having their necks broken. This wasn't murder in the Egyptian mind. It was a sacred offering. But it does complicate our romanticized view of Egyptian cat worship. They loved cats, yes. They considered them divine, absolutely. But that divinity also meant cats were bred, killed, and commodified on an industrial scale. It's a reminder that ancient religious practices were complex. Reverence and exploitation often existed side by side. Egypt's cat obsession had consequences which lasted millennia. For one thing, they tried to keep cats to themselves. Exporting cats from Egypt was illegal, though eventually cats spread throughout the Mediterranean anyway through trade and smuggling. Every domestic cat alive today can trace its ancestry back to those African wildcats which wandered into Egyptian grain stores 4,000 years ago. The Egyptian reverence for cats also influenced later cultures. The Greeks associated cats with their goddess Artemis. Romans brought cats throughout their empire. And when Christianity spread through Egypt, some of Bastet's imagery merged with depictions of the Virgin Mary. Meanwhile, cats themselves remained blissfully unaware of their theological resume. They continued doing what cats do, sleeping in sunbeams, knocking things off tables, and staring at walls for no apparent reason. It started practically. Cats killed pests, protected grain, saved lives, but it evolved into something deeper. Cats embodied qualities the Egyptians found divine: balance, protection, mystery, fierce maternal love. They connected to powerful deities like Bastet and Ra. They became living symbols of cosmic order. And honestly, look at any cat today. Watch them demand food at 3 a.m. Watch them ignore you when you call their name, but come running when you open a can. Watch them sit on your laptop specifically because you're using it.
Tell me they don't still think they're gods.
The Egyptians just had the good sense to agree with them.
If you learned something new today, consider subscribing and liking this video. And if you've got a cat, maybe give them an extra treat tonight. They've got 4,000 years of divine entitlement to maintain.